Welcome everybody to our community governance call. Everything around the upcoming Treasury vote and all kind of other related things to governance will be discussed today here. Like I said, everything is recorded. If you have a question, if you don't understand anything or you need any clarification to the things we will be telling you here, please really speak up, make yourself acknowledgeable. Happy to answer all questions and to go into more details where it's needed. If you don't understand anything, just really either just talk or post a question in the governance channel in the chat, and somebody can pick it up and bring it up here. We have a little agenda today.
Right now.
Yeah.
One question.
Yep.
Can you detach the charging cable?
It is already
because of the noise?
It is already detached. Maybe there's another one detached. Is it still there? Bad noise or?
I guess it's rain in the background.
No.
Is it rain
Maybe
in the
it's
background?
me, sorry.
Is it for everybody so bad?
I have like very static noise.
Yeah, I can hear it too. It's like a noise.
Yeah.
Let me 1 second.
It's not you, Holger, I guess. Can you mute yourself for a second?
Let's see if that does it. Yeah, that's it.
Okay,
When I talk, do you guys hear it?
No. You have a perfect mic. Last time I think it was because of the charger.
Yeah, I remember that, and
Yeah.
I think it has to do with the electrical.
Yeah, so I was muted for 10 seconds or so. It's still there, or did you hear difference?
Yeah, but I guess you can live with it. That's fine.
You have to. Before I get the new setup, you have to. Okay, either way, you will have to live with this little noise that is, I don't know, coming from my headphones here. Welcome everybody, and happy that you all found a way into our community call. We got some updates and some news for you. We got some latest Firefly updates. And then we could also talk about some things that are happening in our governance forum. Maybe there is also Kapi here. He might be able to also answer some questions regarding his proposal to increase the shimmer supply. And then in the end, as always, this is an open round, so everybody is free to bring up topics, ask questions, participate in the discussion as you would like it. Let me check. Normally, I'm going through a quite detailed description of the voting process, but I have done this so many times that I'm maybe gonna do this not today in detail, and we can focus on some more other things. So for all of you that have not ever been part of such a call here, we talk about the upcoming vote to decide if around 50 TI IOTA tokens that have been laying unclaimed since the beginning of the project should be either removed from the IOTA ledger or should be given to the community, so the community could use them to do something useful with it, whatever the community deems to be useful. There's got to be a vote happening in the Firefly wallet very soon, and so you will be able to participate in this decision, and you cast your voice and you cast your decision using the IOTA tokens that you own. The cool thing is, actually, Firefly is ready. We had the Firefly team was working really, really excellent over the last week or two, and we had last weekend already a test vote where we did all the functionalities on the testnet. So we went through a whole voting circle of announcement, of pre-voting phase, of counting phase, and everything worked very well. There have been some small UI, UX things, but actually that's it. Yeah. I've been just had a call with Charlie, and so everything is actually ready. We are just have to do some small UI things for the front end that will be merged. And so we are determining now a date to be announced for the first vote. I can't tell you now. We will discuss this probably tomorrow or beginning of next week. But yeah, the voting time is actually quite over, it seems. What else can I tell you about Firefly? Yeah, it's gonna be happening as we have been talking all the time. We're gonna announce it, and then we're gonna give the node operator 3 days time to implement this participation event in their nodes. So all IOTA node operators that operate Hornet nodes will be able to participate in the counting of the votes. And after this 3 days period, the pre-vote phase will start. From this time on, you can cast your vote in the Firefly wallet. You have 7 days time, so you don't need to rush or anything. You have 7 days time to decide which of the two options you are going to choose. And the voting, as you might have heard already, works very, very easy. You click 2 buttons and it's principally the same thing than we are doing with staking. So technically, it's all a very solid thing. We are doing this since months with staking. We know that it works. It's just a different event shown in the front end of Firefly, but in the back end, actually, all the functionality from staking works the same in voting. So we actually know that everything should be working fine. After the 7 days time period where you have time to cast your decision, there will be a 10 days counting period. In this counting period, your votes will be counted by the nodes and they will build up voting weight every 10 seconds. Similar like you've seen it in the staking, where every 10 seconds you received more new assembly and shimmer tokens. The same thing is going to happen with the vote. Every 10 seconds, the tokens that you use to vote will generate fresh votes. And so the best thing for you to do is cast your vote in the 7 days period before the counting starts, and then keep the tokens sitting in the voting address for the full 10 days, which will end up for you to have the maximum possible votes that you can gain with your tokens. So that's the best way. Take your time, do the vote in this 7 days pre-vote phase whenever you like, and then just wait until the final results are finished, the vote is ended, and the results will be published. Nothing more that you have to do. If you want to know the specific details around this vote, what happened, why we do this, how we...
Hier ist die MDR Jump Feierabendshow. Donnerstagnachmittag, bei uns dreht sich ja heute.
Hey guys,
Somebody
please
needs to
mute
Kann unter Umständen also
yourself,
wirklich
everybody, if you are not. Okay, thank you. Good. Yeah, so that's the thing. We have a website, IOTAtreasury.org. That's a community-built website where all the information about the vote is presented in a very easy way. There's
Are you on the first floor? You can't
Hey,
get into the store because they've got
Can
that.
you please
bad-
mute yourself? Whoever. Good. Yeah, so as I said, we have a website. If you want to check out more in detail what is happening around the vote, visit iotatreasury.org. There's a tutorial, there's an FAQ section, and you can read about what is going to happen. Like I said, I can't tell you an exact date when we will start, but it's basically just a couple of days that we need to determine timelines and things like this. So things are now happening. Which makes me really happy because we've been talking over a year now. I think I just checked. Our first meeting was, I think, on the 16th May 2021. So we made it with over a year, but finally we have arrived in a place where we see the light on the end of the tunnel, and finally the IOTA community will be able to decide on this important topic, and then we will see what will come next, depending on the outcome of the vote. Cool. Any questions so far on this? Do you need some clarification? Do you want to know more?
No, it's just kind of hard to believe we're finally getting there.
It's Greg. Yeah,
Kinda cool.
I just like that. I just got the confirmation around half an hour ago that we are finally there. So all cool, all happy. I just
Yeah, it's exciting. Obviously, on our side of things, we just need to make sure that everything is copacetic. But yeah, I'm happy to see this. Curious. So, with all the machinations that are going on with the builds, on the nodes right now, is that's gonna probably impact when we can do this, right? Or are we at a place where we think that that's all set?
Actually, for the nodes, as far as I hear it from the Hornet team, it's all easy going. It's just a new It's just a new participation event that's gonna be implemented in the nodes. Yeah, I mean, it's a nice and straightforward process. Actually, everybody, if you run a Hornet node and you don't need to be specific knowledgeable in coding, you can do it from your Hornet node dashboard in the front end in the browser. Actually, you can implement. There's a tutorial on the GitHub repo where the node event will be published. It's pretty simple and straightforward. So if you think you would like to participate in this, in the validation and in the counting of the vote, you can do this as a casual Hornet node operator. Cool.
Nice.
Fantastic. So if there are no more questions around this, yes.
Sorry, I have to I had to leave the presentation for a few minutes, and maybe you already said this, but so the voting is done from the Firefly itself, or where?
Yeah. The
okay,
vote.
okay, thank you.
Maybe let me do one thing. Maybe I'll show you shortly, because I have the Firefly version on my. I can show you shortly how it will look in Firefly. That may be helpful for those of you that have not yet seen or heard about it. I will just switch my screen. 1 second.
Awesome, thank you.
So you should.
Are you still switching there? Because we're still on the same screen. Okay, you're good now. It's moving. So.
It's moving.
Yeah,
so
you
see my Firefly wallet now.
I do.
Yeah. That's, like I said, that's a test version. So these are testnet tokens. That's the normal Firefly that you know. And what will come as soon as we are ready, there will be a Firefly update. So everybody of you just downloads the new Firefly version, or you actually can use also the update version in the settings, and you get a new Firefly version. And in the new Firefly version, you will have here on the side a new little icon. This is the governance tab. If you click on it, you will be presented this kind of screen. And you will see that there is now one upcoming vote. And we have this little info thing here. The info, if you click here on it, you will be forwarded to the IOTA-treasury.org website, where you can find and read all the information, and you have a voting tutorial there, and everything is collected and aligned there. And then you can view the proposal, and this is how the voting in Firefly will look. The only thing now, because this was the last event, so it's already ended, so I cannot vote anymore. But for you, you will have a question here that is defined by the community. The question will actually be what should be done with the unclaimed treasury tokens, and you will have two options. The option one will be build, so build a community treasury and use the tokens for something that seems feasible and for the community. Or the option two will be burn, which would mean remove the tokens from the IOTA ledger and reduce the total supply of IOTA of this around 50 TI tokens. You will just click an arrow here, and then you will confirm your vote with your Firefly, with your Stronghold password, or with your ledger, and then you will have been voted. That's it. That's it. Like really easy. You will also see the ongoing count of all other voters here in your Firefly wallet. So you will have a live count of the results that are going on. And so during this 7 days period, you will have time to vote. And then in the 10 days period, you just need to do nothing, just sit there and wait, and you can observe the votes being counted. And after 10 days, you will see, like here, the final result, and we will have a decision. That's actually all. Voting is independent from staking, so you can, during this time, you can always stake your tokens, unstake your tokens. You can receive new tokens and also vote with new received tokens. You can stop the vote. You can send the tokens away. It's same thing with staking. You're completely free to do whatever you like, and your tokens are not locked or anything. You are always in control, and if you want to vote, just you click 2 buttons and that's it. Pretty simple and straightforward. Okay, I think.
Okay. Thanks for the clarification.
Was helpful. Cool. Okay. Anybody else? Any question? Any remarks? Anything?
Looks good. So I guess I would just say we're going to have a tutorial on this, right?
Yeah.
Might be also, I don't know what that's going to look like, but well, I kind of do. But should we have maybe a quick like YouTube video of the entire experience?
If somebody would find the time to do this, it would be lovely. I mean, in the end, I don't think it's really, because the process is really so simple, and everybody should, because everybody has been staking already. So I think it's not really. We thought about it in the beginning, but then staking and everything came along. I can actually show you. This is the website. Do you see the changed screen? And we have
yes, I do.
We have a tutorial section here. So there actually everything is explained with screenshots. That's gonna change over the. I get the final screenshots later today, so I'm gonna update this one more time for the final versions. But here actually we have everything explained in steps, where you have to push the buttons, what you can do, how you confirm your vote. Yeah. So I think also the cases for if you want to vote and it's already counting. So we have an explanation for this, and we also have an explanation what you have to do if you receive fresh funds. Same like with staking, so you can merge your fresh received funds together with the already voted ones. So I think mostly this will be very self-explaining from the UI and from this tutorial. Okay, cool.
Looks good.
Alrighty. So, anybody else? Questions? No. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next topic, maybe. Yeah. Speak. Okay.
Yeah, I guess it was just background noise.
That was just background. So next topic I would like to talk shortly about is our new governance forum. I think actually there should be a release coming in the moment. So we have this new. Wait, I'll share my screen. We have this new forum that we created to we created to give the community a better place to discuss governance related topics, because we see that Discord or Telegram or Reddit is a bit difficult to come to focused discussions. And so we thought, okay, let's do the forum, which was before only used for research topics. And we extended the functionality around governance. And so we have a governance topic now where we can discuss all kind of things that are important around governance, around Shimmer, around IOTA, later on around assembly. And so we would really invite everybody to take a look there. If you want to propose something or you have some ideas about governance related topics, just post it there, and this will automatically be also pinged in the IOTA Discord, so people will really also see if you do some posts there. And we have in the moment already a couple of interesting proposals there. The first one was actually the question about the Shimmer token units that was brought up by Dom, where it was discussed which denomination should be used for Shimmer. And it received a lot of replies, it received a lot of feedback, and also we had a little poll there. And so the community decided to use the option 2, to use Shimmer with 6 decimals. And I think last week we announced, or a couple of days ago, we announced that Shimmer is going to follow the recommendations from this post and from the community, and going to be using the commas. Another proposal was brought up by me a couple of days ago, because I think what we need to do before we really go into governance decisions is to define a governance a process of how we handle ideas and proposals. And so I created this post here where I lay out my ideas, which are mainly coming from others, yeah, because I'm observing the DAO space since a year, and I actually took what I found most useful from other projects, and I've looked into a lot of them, and most of them use such kind of forum, and they use like a staged approach to governance, so that you can first of all propose an idea and have a loose discussion around it. And once you so this is what I call here phase 1 discussions. And once you have got feedback from the community on your idea, and you have maybe adopted some input, and you come to a much better conclusion of how the thing should work, then you can move this into what I would call a temperature check. You can also call it like a specification phase, where you make a really specific and well-designed proposal using a template that touches all the important parts of what a governance proposal should have, and actually also include a polling option here in the forum, so that you have like a soft consensus vote in a forum by the forum members that read, yeah, so they can put several options there to decide on. And once this has been done and has received good feedback and a positive feedback from the community, then those things could be brought up to a vote by all token holders using the system that we have in the moment with Firefly. And this could be then put up to a vote by the whole community with IOTA tokens. Have a read through it. If you like it, give a like or comment if you wanted something to change. This is currently from my side in the phase 1. Yeah, so really I would be happy to get some input there. We already got some really good comments, and I will adjust the proposal over the next days, taking these comments into account, and then probably maybe next week make a second proposal out of this in a phase 2 with a very defined governance process that takes in all account of all the input that I get there, and gonna put this up for a poll in the forum, and then we'll see if the community likes it. We could maybe implement this process for further and future governance decisions in IOTA and Shimmer and later on assembly. Any questions around that?
Nope, it's just as my with this thing, we just need to get more communication out that this is where people need to go.
Yeah.
That's all.
Did we have
right?
did we have to announce the announcement block today? There should be an announcement actually happening.
Yeah, even if we had one today, which I think is great. I don't know that I saw it, but if it's out there, it's just going to need to, with this is marketing right now, and it's just repetition is what's going because everybody just knows to go to governance. So we just need to. I think this is great. We just need to. That message needs to be repeated.
Yeah.
That's
absolutely. And one really important and interesting proposal that has been brought up there, I think 2 weeks ago, or when was it? Was Kapi's idea to 15 days ago to increase the supply of Shimmer of the mainnet, so the total token supply, by 20%, and give 10% of these tokens to, or give half of those tokens to the EDF, and another 10% into a community governed DAO, to have an amount of tokens for incentives and ecosystem building on Shimmer, to actually make this successfulness work. And I think it's a very well thought through proposal. He put a lot of thoughts and ideas in this, put a lot of info, put a lot of research and back up there. So I would really invite everybody to read through this and give some feedback if this is something that the community would like to do actually. And I don't know, Kapi, you are here, yeah?
Yeah, I'm here.
So if anybody has any questions regarding this, or Kapi, you want to tell a little bit more and give some more background info about that, I'll happy to hear this.
Yeah, sure. Maybe I'll just give a very high-level summary of what I've proposed. So you'll probably see throughout other smart contract ecosystems, many have ecosystem fund to help support growth and bring developers onto the chain and support their Web3 applications. And this is what I'm essentially proposing. If we kind of look back at history and have a look at all of the smart contract chains that have been successful, they've all been successful for a variety of different reasons, but one of those reasons is that they've been able to incentivize growth with an ecosystem fund. So I guess, an example outside of our crypto world is, say, like a country wants to incentivize development in a certain industry, they could provide maybe tax breaks or grants or incentives or assistance to ensure that industry grows. And that's what we're essentially putting together as a community, as a proposal. And it's great to see that the community's provided a good amount of feedback already. What I was looking to do actually over the next day or two is kind of putting together like a follow-up to the proposal on that governance forum to tackle some of the sort of comments that people have, which I think it would be good to maybe get a response from myself as well as getting more feedback from the community. So one of the areas that I'll be responding to in particular is kind of around the inflation of the supply. I know some people have a concern that, the concept is perhaps like stealing 20% of the value from their stake. I see it as maybe like a bigger picture, looking at this as like we're looking to incentivize growth, and it essentially, without the use cases that those incentives will facilitate, there isn't going to be nearly as much value in the chain, and therefore the token value. And actually looking at the percentage of IOTAs that were staked, it wasn't as high as I probably first envisioned. And so if you actually took the approach of actually staking taking 100% of the IOTA that could have been staked, we're still left with a smaller percentage of that if we were to inflate the supply by a further 20%. And I guess to take like a bigger vision on this, it's high level view on this, or my view is taking the concept of like, would you rather have 100% of a small cake, or would you rather have 80% of a much larger cake, which has more volume? And it would be the kind of the larger cake approach that I'm kind of putting the play across for. The other thing that I'll cover on the follow-up for the proposal is really around, there were a lot of unanswered questions in my first proposal, and I kind of wanted to get some feedback from the community first before I kind of set aside my vision for kind of like guidance as for how I think the ecosystem fund could move forward. And this is really just my thoughts, and I'd like to get everybody else's thoughts about it, is basically having guidance for ecosystem funding. So for example, maybe having 40 or 50% of the ecosystem being allocated for providing liquidity to projects. So moving away from the concept of just giving projects like grants and money without any conditions. Having liquidity in a project means that the ecosystem fund could potentially grow as the value of that liquidity we would hope would grow, but it also provides a passive income as well to the ecosystem fund. And then perhaps also the ecosystem fund could get involved in token sales, so they could support projects that are looking to launch by maybe participating in their ICO investments at favorable terms. And again, generating perhaps passive income from those utility tokens, or those tokens going up in value is another avenue as well for growing that ecosystem fund potentially over time. And then the remaining sort of 20% of the ecosystem fund, I was thinking, you can't do away with grants, because there's certain teams that do need grants, and sort of the AAA teams are, they're sourced from all different smart contract chains. And so there will be an element of having to, I don't like using the word bribe, but maybe bribe is a good word, to actually bring some of these like AAA studios, like I'm thinking more around sort of the unique use cases onto IOTA's chain, being Shimmer initially, and using some grants, but a much smaller percentage than just across some of the other ecosystem funds. And it really kind of, the last part of the follow-up proposal will be around like how I see it working, particularly with the 10% community fund. And I think it probably works best as like a committee of like trusted IOTA community members that have enough knowledge in Web3 development across GameFi, DeFi, and NFTs. And I appreciate that's quite difficult to achieve, particularly where lots of people that have that knowledge already have maybe conflicts of interest. And that's why myself, I've already placed my name out of the hat for such a role, because I feel like I'll be too conflicted because I'm building several projects on top of Shimmer already. And to kind of put that out there in case people don't already know, I am a builder, so potentially indirectly I could benefit from this ecosystem funding. So just to put my own conflict of interest out there, but I strongly believe that without some of this ecosystem funding, we won't be able to attract some of the use cases that we're hoping to see on Shimmer and in the future assembly. And I think the ecosystem funding should be focused on use cases that are unique and require a lot of development and a lot of upfront investment from some of these teams. I think the use cases which are built off other platforms that are already existing, so doing like clean forks of, say, DeFi projects, I think they need a lot less sort of ecosystem funding. And I personally would recommend focusing the ecosystem fund on projects which are, unique, that can bring users and investors from other chains across to IOTA, not just our own community. And I think that's how we're going to grow over time. And as I've said before, Shimmer is it's a community token. 100% of the tokens are airdrops to the community right now. And so I really feel like this proposal needs to be, acted on by the community. So yeah, I'd welcome any questions from anybody.
Yeah, has anybody some comments or questions on this?
I guess just to touch on
the discussion somewhere.
Well, the discussion is right. If you're looking on the screen right now, if you guys look at the streaming, you can see it right now.
It's right maybe Holger, if you could share that link, and maybe
the link.
The
link. Sorry,
somebody just somebody share it in general or in the governance channel. It's govern.iota.org. And
I just wanted to add one other thing. I think that the timing for this, we are under the gun a little bit in that it makes it very difficult to pass such a governance vote once the token has been released. And so I don't know the exact timeline for Shimmer and the token release, but I think it's sooner rather than later. So I think it's great actually that we've got the other Treasury votes ongoing right now, and I hope that's going to be a success, and we could potentially as a community then reach out to the IF to use that facility then to I guess to then vote on the additional proposal, which I hope that the community would support.
I think also from my opinion, it's really just one, like you said already, you're going to extend this proposal a bit and give some more feedback. I think it's a great proposal, and people, I mean, you also should know that Shimmer is going to have
anyway. You cut out, my friend.
So Shimmer is anyway going to have inflation. Yeah. So you're going to have an 8% inflation on Shimmer anyway every year. So there is always going to be fresh tokens and coins coming into the ledger. Another thing is really, like Kapi said, if we figure out how to make it better than we have seen in other ecosystems where a lot of funding definitely has been not be really useful. But we have been looking into all these ecosystems for a long time. We have a lot of very professional people that have a lot of experience with this. And like I said, it's sometimes really more important to provide liquidity to a project that wants to come over than to provide direct payment into their pockets to convince them. But without anything, it will be very, very difficult to just generate enough incentives for like Kapi said, this AAA big projects teams to consider doing something on IOTA and on Shimmer. So I really think everybody should take a look into this, read through it, and make up the minds, and comment with your ideas in the governance forum.
Yeah, I think you raise a good point now. I think there's a lot of ecosystem funds out there in existence right now, and I don't think any of them have been perfect. I think there's been a lot of mistakes made, and it gives us the opportunity, and it's one of the advantages of being late to this game, right? Is that we've got the opportunity to learn from other people's mistakes, and we should certainly learn from all of our competitors' mistakes.
Yeah, I think
I do have a question. I just from a regulatory front, and this fund will be as an ecosystem. Where will the fund live? Is this is a community fund, or is it managed by IF? I can't recall. And if it is, does it fall within the regular? Are we still going to be kind of having to worry about what we can or cannot do?
Yeah, so on that point, so my suggestion is that the fund would be 20%, and that 10% would be a community DAO. And I've been having some very initial conversations with like the IF as to how we could structure that, and we still need to get some legal assistance. And on that point as well, if there's any, if the community want to get involved in assisting with the setup of that fund, then absolutely we should all be doing this together. The other 10%, my proposal is to put it in sort of like an EDF, IF controlled entity. And from speaking to the IF, they have an entity outside of Germany, which is a lot far more efficient for an ecosystem fund with more flexibility than I think the current EDF system, which has caused a lot of issues.
Yeah. Mark, are you still here? Are you still on the phone, Mark? Okay, just for my understanding, are you finding that the new EDF location, or the other one that we just spoke about, provides the flexibility that you didn't have from the one in Germany?
Yes, totally. The only issue is that the funds that we brought from Germany are kind of tainted.
Yeah, I know that
we have
part.
to legally treat them as German tokens. So any new tokens, like for example, those from those proposal, could be used way more flexible with the new entity.
Yes, by doing this, we actually remove that yoke, right? We basically have a new set of tokens so that are not encumbered or whatever.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. Cool.
Yeah,
that's great.
And the reason why my proposal was 10% for the IF controlled EDF entities, A, they've got experience, B, they've now got the flexibility through this new entity that's outside of Germany, but also C, I think it's going to take some time actually to set up the community ecosystem DAO and make sure that we have the right people on the committee. That's certainly not something that could be available anytime soon. So taking the approach that we need something of the interim until we have that DAO set up seems to be, in my opinion, a good approach. But also, in us setting up that DAO as part of Shimmer, I'm sure there's going to be mistakes made, but we can learn from those mistakes, correct them, and then we can also develop the assembly ecosystem DAO even better as part of a community project. So I think this all is in line with what we're hoping to use Shimmer for, which is the staging network towards developing the tech on top of assembly.
Yeah. So there might be a benefit to help that process along. We have this bridge fund group in the Pioneers group that we're working on right now to really kind of solve a similar issue. I mean, I don't know if you've looked at it, but it's the notes are all available within. It's called the Bridge Fund Group in the Pioneers Group, and this group is we have been working on building a framework for the way that people can operate now, trying to get essentially set up all of a lot of the operating procedures and processes for. Basically, when the build versus burn vote is done, and assuming that it's for build, so then we aren't hitting the ground from, just from the starting blocks. We actually have a lot of the operating procedures and processes kind of defined up front, so that can just be used by the newly formed DAO to try to jumpstart it, and as far as giving them a framework to kind of like get going. So that might be beneficial.
Yeah, no, that'll be really useful. And I know, G-Man, I spoke to you privately recently. We should try and set up a call, and we can maybe discuss that in a bit more detail and bring in other people from the community that we think could really help.
Cool.
To show there is a possibility. While Russian industry and
always mute yourself.
Was somebody trying to speak right now, or were they having a side conversation? I can tell.
It sounds like a side conversation. Anybody else got something to add here, to ask questions, have some opinions on this? Even if it's critical opinions, I'm sure not everybody is aligned, but this is why we have this call. Just speak up and we can clarify things.
Right now, but I'm not against the idea by any stretch, but I'm wondering how it really differs from the ecosystem fund, assuming that the vote is billed and we have 50 TI to work with already. I assume that could be used for Shimmer and assembly also.
Do you really?
I think my understanding from speaking to the IF is that build or burn fund there is focused on the development of IOTA as a sort of layer 0, layer 1 chain, tangle, rather than for the Shimmer or assembly ecosystem. But perhaps, Holger, you can correct me if I'm wrong.
I mean, there is nothing defined. The community can,
yeah,
of
I don't think
course,
there is. Yeah,
the community can decide whatever they do. So, but the first thing is, like we know, it will take quite a longer time until these funds will be available. And so for the Shimmer launch, there wouldn't be anything available. So this 50 Ti, they will actually need a successful Shimmer working network with smart contracts and everything, and then we can port this over to IOTA with smart contracts, and then we can have the 50 Ti available. So actually, the most important time, the first couple of months on Shimmer, where all the action needs to happen, all the projects need to be onboarded to make it a successful process, and especially a network that is used by a lot of people with a lot of applications, because this is what we need to validate core decide and to validate all the smart contract functionalities. We need people, we need projects, applications running on Shimmer, and we need to give them some incentives, some reason to do something on Shimmer. Otherwise, we will have a not much used network will slow down our road to core decide even more. And so the 50 Ti won't be ready when we need them, and that's, I think, the biggest problem in the moment.
Yeah, that's actually, and that's kind of why we did this bridge group. I mean, we initially called it the Speed Fund Group, which was, just to add a little bit more to that. Our intention is to have these operating procedures in place to allow us to work with IF right now to take some of those funds once it is a build positive vote, that we can actually perhaps shave off like 5 million to that we can actually basically go through this basically a manual process of awarding projects before the DAO is fully functional and all these things are in place. And the idea would be to use the EDF process somewhat and use the same custody provider to allow us to do that. And we have the top folks in finance and in legal at IF have already had a couple conversations with us, saying that there's a way forward to do that. We're going to have to get permission from the community and get a vote on that, but that's actually part of what we're trying to do to try to jumpstart things during this time frame, because that's my biggest fear has always been, all right, we got the vote done. Hey, let's go. Everybody's going to expect something to happen. But we still have this. What they don't really realize is that it has to be a full functioning DAO ahead of time. So we're trying to find a bridge essentially to help us get through that.
Yeah. So. I think then it would need to be important to get to have a decision if some of those funds, let's say if we decide for build, and then if there would be decision to have some tokens allocated to such a bridge fund, then there would be the next decision if some of those tokens can even be used in Shimmer, which is of course a different network. So that's all kind of needs to be decided then by the community.
Yeah, that's a new consideration we had not thought about before. But because what we're saying is that we have the desire is to really get them to a more the other network, really, right? Because I don't think there is anything that actually stops us from doing that. So, but that would have to be a vote.
Yeah, and also I think it's a part of I think I like the idea of copy, because it's great to have a very only community owned entity having a part of this. But on the other hand, we will have to see that there's really also a lot of experience and connections inside the IOTA Foundation and inside the EDF, which can maybe also do things quicker, easier, different than such committee-based DAO thing would handle things. Yeah. So sometimes I think we also need I personally think we need a portion of tokens in the hand of the people that do this professional day for day to be really successful with this. But yeah, that's something to discuss.
Yeah, and that's one of the challenges as well, right? Is making sure that we have the right experience, both at the IF side, but as well, probably even more importantly, on the ecosystem like fund committee if it goes ahead, because it's how do we get that experience on that committee, and also the challenges with potential conflicts. So I wouldn't say that somebody couldn't go on that committee just because they work on a project, but it's like, how do you manage then that conflict? And it becomes quite a difficult task where...
Yeah, it's really interesting. So that's in this one bridge fund group, we have spent 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks, defining the guiding principles, and then on which everything, the board members need to operate under, and also all the appliquees for money, looking for money, right? Yeah. And then kind of delving into, okay, if once these policies are decided, the principles are decided, obviously we want people to vote on that, but also how do we adjudicate each one if there's an issue with each one of those? And that's where it gets kind of, Rob's on here with me. He knows. These conversations go on and they get quite involved. So yeah, hopefully we're stepping through a lot of that right now to give accelerate the process. So, but you're right. Those are things that need a lot of work and thinking on, because that's where where things get really goofy, right? If you don't have all that stuff kind of really thought out ahead of time, because they can be exploited, or you just have unintended consequences. So we're trying to think through all that stuff now.
That makes a lot of sense. Just to touch on the point of the sort of build or burn funding as well, I personally take the view that it would be great to have both available, because the build and burn funding could then be focused on IOTA and how to create additional value and utility for IOTA, and how that could also be, in connection with Shimmer and Assembly, but it's solely focused on its own sort of growth path. And then you've got the Shimmer Ecosystem Fund as well, which is solely focused on its own growth and utility of Shimmer, as well as the Assembly token as well. I appreciate it's a bit of a controversial proposal, and I appreciate as well that some people might not be as comfortable kind of talking out in this format. But please do, if you want to reach out to me privately, or just you can create an account anonymously on this governance forum, and you can put counter proposals together. Like I said, over the next couple of days, I'm looking to take on board as much of the feedback as possible, and kind of providing a follow-on to this proposal. So then we can look to hopefully formulate a vote over the next few weeks, I think.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think we sometimes have to also, as a community, be bold. Yeah. If there is an opportunity now to launch a new network, we should actually really think about what would be the best starting point for such a network from an ecosystem viewpoint and from an overall market viewpoint. We see how others have done it over the last couple of years. It's very clear. Rob describes it very good in his post. There is kind of a playbook how other projects have launched their ecosystem with a new token and have become successful. We don't need to follow these playbooks, because they also have some flaws, but we definitely need to think about what actually would be the best way to launch Shimmer as an independent network and give him all the functionalities that we need to achieve the goal of Shimmer, being the test bed that is heavily used by a lot of people, by a lot of applications, by a lot of teams, to validate what will be put on to IOTA mainnet, so that we can securely transfer IOTA into a fully decentralized mainnet with smart contracts and without coordinator. And for this, we need teams, we need apps, we need users, we need daily massive transaction volume on these networks. And so what would be the best way to do this? This is, I think, the most important question of this proposal of Rob.
Thanks, and apologies. I've got a call in a couple of minutes, so I've got to jump off. I just wanted to kind of leave on just a quick note, which is, I guess that the best case scenario is that we grow the value of that ecosystem fund, and we're also growing the value of the entire ecosystem underneath it, and that's what we should be striving to aim for. And learning from others' mistakes is very key to that path. But like I said, if anyone has any questions, please do reach out to me. You can DM me or on Twitter or via the governance forum, which I believe someone's posted in maybe general or the governance channel. But apologies, I've got a call now. But no, it's been great catching up with everybody, and I wish you a good week.
All right, thanks, Cappy.
Thank you, Rob. Great. Yeah, lovely. We got some other questions around this topic, some opinions. Somebody want to speak and tell us anything? Okay.
So that's any last minute comments or last comments? We're coming on the hour, so get them in.
Yeah, I really would say, I think we should have an announcement now with the link to the governance post, to the governance forum. Have a look on these proposals there. Get used to it. Forum is nice. Your IOTA Discord account will work there, so you can either just use your IOTA Discord to create an account or create a new one. Yeah, I think it would be nice if we start using this forum to form our opinions, especially around what should happen with Shimmer, and yeah, get over the next days and weeks into a process of healthy discussion and exchange of ideas in this forum, so that we can really come to a conclusion and potentially put this really into a vote definitely before Shimmer mainnet launches, and see what the community really thinks and what we can do to make Shimmer as successful as possible and as competitive as possible. Because also I think what we really need to see is Shimmer is the way to potentially open the door for other projects to take a second look on IOTA. Yeah? Shimmer will be the future of IOTA. And so if we can get teams and projects committed to build on Shimmer, then this will open the door for adoption on IOTA also, and later on assembly. So I think that's a very, very important step for our community that we have to take here, and we should really try to get the best out of this opportunity now, because we won't be launching so many new networks anymore in the future. So we have to get this one really right. Yeah.
Got to get it right, and all of the competition, let's say the other chains and so forth, the big boys out there, they actually have huge funds to build their ecosystems. And so if we want to be competitive and actually attract the attention we need, we really need to think about what would be best to do that.
Look at them. They all have 400 or 500 millions. Every 6 months, a new fund from a VC is launching on Polygon, on Nia, on Harmony, on Phantom, and all these. They are competitors to us. We want to step into this and grab the fruits that are out there. Yeah, we have to find a way to attract builders and to also support our own community builders to really go full time. That's not stuff that you can do on a side job or on a weekend or a couple of hours in the evening. If you want to build, I mean, Greg, you know it. Look at Sooniverse. If you want to build a successful application and a successful Web3 app and an ecosystem, you need people that are full-time committed, and they need to be paid. They need to be happy contributing to this thing. we can't just convince them with nice words of the future.
No, people got to get paid. I mean, they got to live, right? And that's just everybody talks about bootstrapping. You can only take bootstrapping so far, and we have a lot of brains. We have a lot of people out there that are brilliant that want to do stuff, and I talk to them every day. But it always comes down to money. So if we could help these people get them on board, and also other chains to come on board, because we have sufficient funds to let's, money talks. We say we have a great network. We're going to be best in class, but we need to couple that with some money to bring these people on board. Just to say, hey, like, give us a try, right? But they're going to say, okay, well, we're fine here working where we are. We're already on a chain. We already know how to do that. So in order for us to move or even think about going to a different chain, you're asking for us. That's an expense for us. It's a big, you're asking me to assign developers to a different chain to learn the chain and to do that, right? So, who on this meeting would do that without some, monetary incentive to do that? I would say, hey, look, no, you need to help me do that if you think I'm going to do that.
Yeah, you need to give them an outlook for success and for profits. Yeah? They won't do this for free just because they think, oh, IOTA, that's really nice. Let's do stuff with them. Yeah, that's not how it's going to happen. So we need to, but we also need to not throw money around every project. Yeah, so that's the thing. Like Rob described there, we need to be very clever in the way we do this. We need to focus on long-term commitments of projects. Not absolutely really just giving grants to and then just wait. We need to have
no. You have to be selective and discerning. You need to be thoughtful on everyone and look at the teams and also, I mean, that's part of what we were doing with this guiding principle thing. Is do we conceptually the idea is, hey, do we need 1,000 NFT projects or 1,000 DeFi projects, or do we need to also not only look at the quality of the teams and the amount of money that they're requesting, but are they doing things that are novel, different, new, right? Yep. And we don't need 1,000 of one. We probably want to have, spread out the diversity, right?
Yeah. Sometimes it's.
If I might.
Yeah. Yes.
Jump in really quickly. I totally agree. I mean, the times of 2017, 18. Where there was this dream of crypto making you rich and passive income is over. It's not only about owning the tokens, and it is, as Greg says, absolutely important to support teams, but also, let's say, the single developer, the Stefan Brown that is writing the PHP library, the Luca that is experimenting to break stuff. So I agree that a fund is absolutely needed. So I support Capi's proposal in this conceptual idea, where being selective is important, but we also need some kind of really flexible way to give out funds to the smaller teams or the one-man show, which might actually be doing something really important, where they do not have the time to give to prepare a fully fledged proposal, but really clearly show what they can and then do some kind of retroactive funding also in that direction, if possible. So
yeah, I think that would be a great part. And I like on the proposal this splitting in these two things. So you have a community based, which would be great to do this also retroactive thing, but you also need, I think you really need this strategic part of it, which would then really be best in the hands of the EDF to sometimes move quick, do things with teams, and these are stuff that community might not be able to do so very well because they haven't this much experience in doing these things. Yeah. So both ways doing that would, I think, be absolutely great.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and finding out the right balance, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh. Cool. Okay, wonderful. Do we have other comments? Somebody want to speak up? Somebody want to give some input on this or the topic of the vote or anything? Giving 1, giving 2. And finally, no. Okay. So I would say thanks everybody for joining our meeting again, like every Thursday. We'll keep you posted and updated as soon as we have a final timing and decision where we're going to start the vote. Yeah, so we're going to get some blog posts and Twitter storms and pings and everything around this. You all, I think what we can ask you is spread the word. The vote is happening soon. We need people everywhere to be aware of what's going on. So we need people to update their Firefly wallet once it's released. We need people to push the buttons to vote, because the most important thing, I think, is like getting a broad participation in this. Yeah, but whatever you think is the right decision, the more people that are involved in this decision making, the better it will be. And so, yeah, spread the word, put up a Twitter tweet, put up a Reddit post, post it in a Telegram group, so that people get ready, that they inform themselves what is this vote all about. Share the website or whatever, and yeah, start informing your friends and your wife and whoever owns IOTA tokens, that we will soon gonna be able to vote. Yeah, that would be amazing. And thanks everyone for joining. Have a nice afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are.
Yep.
Yeah, as I said, I'm gonna upload this recording, post it in YouTube, and I'm gonna post the links in the Discord and in Twitter, so you can all catch up if you missed a part of this. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Greg, as always. Great support.
All right, have a good one. Thanks, Philo.
Have a good evening.
Yep.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Talk to you guys
Bye-bye.
later. Bye-bye.